So, active recovery. All right. So, why do we need rest days? So, active recovery and rest days slightly different, but we'll get into that later on. Okay. So, what it is exercise. When you exercise, you cause a temporary reduction in your performance. So it's like a little dip, and then what your body does is adapt to that. Okay. So, a small little dip in performance because you're fatigued, and then your body adapts to it. Just to protect itself. That's the whole reason why. Okay. And now when it comes to this general adaptation syndrome, okay, so training stimulus, that's what happens when you're obviously in the gym, putting stress onto your body, causes micro trauma. Then your first thing that happens after that is fatigue. So you get tired, then you go into this recovery phase. And then the last phase is where you make your gains. Okay, so super compensation. So meaning your fitness levels surpass your previous levels. Okay, so going to the gym, that's your base level of fitness. Start training, you go into this tired, fatigue state. So that's the stimulus. Then you go into recovery state. And then that's your fitness line there. And then after that, you go into that super compensation. That's where you get all your little gains. Okay. So what people don't do a lot of the time with their fitness is they think I can just train every day. They go and get that stimulus, try to recover, but they never actually beat that fitness line because they don't give enough time to recovery. So they never actually make their gains. So you can actually lose all your gains if you don't take your recovery seriously. All right. So the difference, these are the kind of the main things that I've kind of used over the years, football. You probably heard a couple of them yourselves before as well. Okay, so how to make the most of your rest days and your active recovery days. So normally, rest days, people kind of think, all right, I go to the gym, maybe one day, Tuesday's gonna be your rest day and not do anything. Now, when I say rest days, do you need to take a rest day if you are just doing a normal gym session? To be honest, no, I don't think you do. I don't think you have to do any of this active recovery. You can just chill out the next day. But if you are doing like a heavy session, if you have a match, a camogie game, if you're going out for, I don't know, like one of them 20K jogs you did the other day, and your body's going to be bit after, you're going to have DOMS. So DOMS is obviously delayed onset muscle soreness. Your body's going to be a bit the next day, okay? So that's when you can kind of do this active recovery days. Normal gym days, if they're not heavy enough, you don't really have to do this active recovery. I wouldn't recommend it. So level one is obviously the main level. These are the ones you have to kind of tick off. Okay, so your hydration, you know, it's what is it? It's 1 liter per 25 kg of your body weight is what you have to aim for. Okay, for your hydration. Nutrition, obviously, just trying to get your protein in. Obviously, filling up your glycogen stores from your carbs, so you're filling up your muscles again, and then sleep. So important. That's where pretty much all your hormones kind of kick in, and that's when you're going to build a lot of muscle. So if you're not doing them three, I wouldn't even bother going into level 2 or level 3. Right? So the level 2 now, this is kind of the ones for going into them heavy days or having them long runs. So active recovery. So basically what active recovery is, think of it as just flushing your body out. So when you put all this stress in your body, like we said before, you're getting all this micro trauma, you're tearing your muscles up, gets filled up with like waste products, lactic acid, everything. So what you're going to use as your active recovery is just flushing all that out of your system and kind of speed up your recovery. Okay. So light cardio, 3 things you have to do. So light cardio, foam rolling or myofascial release, and then mobility or movement. Okay. So with your light cardio, and that could be, it doesn't really make a difference what it is, to be honest. It can be a fast walk, a slow walk, a light jog, low intensity cycle, or a non-strenuous swim. You're kind of getting the idea here. It's really low intensity. What people kind of do is the mistake what happens with active recovery, people pushing themselves too hard. And then going back up to that, if you're pushing yourself too hard in that recovery stage, you're just constantly going to be under that fitness level. So you really have to take this really, really easy. And it's a bit boring, to be honest. So if you have one of them heart rate monitors, or you can even use your watch, this will be different for everyone. So that's your beats per minute, your heartbeat per minute. So if you're really fit, maybe aim for 140. If normal fitness, I'd say myself, even I'd aim for about 120 beats per minute. Okay. Or probably an easier way of doing it is if you're on a light jog, you're working at about 20, 30%. Okay, so really, really light jog. You don't want to cause any more stress to your body. And then going into your foam rolling. Okay, so the reason why you're doing your foam rolling then, well, obviously the reason why you're doing your cardio is to flush out or just increase your blood flow. Okay, second one, your foam rolling is to decrease your DOMS, so that's the soreness, and then improve your flexibility. Okay, How to foam roll is the question. I have a little guide. We'll go through it at the end. I can even just send it on. I think we know how to foam roll anyway. But I'll go through it at the end. And then the last one is your mobility. Probably the most important one, to be honest. You can kind of link them two in together. So your mobility and your movement phase, basically just doing a warm-up and then doing the exercise you've done the day before. So if you had a really hard day doing squats, think about what muscles you use. So your hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, calves. Going in, flush them out, and then this Gav coming in here, fashionably late. Yeah, so going in, think about what muscle you used the day before. If that's even if you played a football match or whatever, obviously you're going to be using your legs a lot. So flushing out your legs and then doing some body weight stuff, like even doing practicing your depth in your squat. Like that could be if you struggle to do ass to grass squat. Just going into the gym, squatting down and getting used to that position. Now, I know you're going to say, love your back handle there. Completely fine. Okay, you're fine to be in this position with around back. If I had 100 kg in the back, completely different situation. You're trying to get used to it, just using your rest days or your recovery days as a chance to improve somewhere else. So, what I'd say to you is doing them days, someone like yourself, Hannah, with your hips that are really, really tight, is use your recovery days if you're doing maybe a heavy lower body day or you're doing a run, is the next day say, okay, what kind of rehab can I do or what can I add into that? Now, it can't be strenuous, like I said before, but trying to make it more interesting because sometimes these recovery days are a bit boring, just doing light jogs, just kind of warm up half the time. So trying to turn it into something that you can get something out of, really. So when I'm doing my recovery days after a game, I obviously use a lot of my legs when I'm playing. But I don't be using my arms, so I can add in my bicep curls then, something that I actually want to do and enjoy. Okay. And now the last one, I don't really like the last one to be honest, because I think everybody's getting these now: massage guns, compression pants, and then they don't have any of these done. Level 1 pretty much. Now they do work. They're I wouldn't say they're gimmicks. They do work. Massage guns, compression pants, but it's not the end goal. I don't think a lot of people need them. And then I know a lot of people ask me about ice baths. I don't know. There's conflicting research on that. I would say they're good if you can do it directly after a session. And if you were doing maybe a session back to back, so if you're doing a hard run session on a Friday and then on a Sunday, but long-term results out of it, they're not that great. So if you're doing a lot of training sessions back to back, maybe that's the only time you could do an ice bath, in my opinion, anyway. So that's just kind of the main thing we want to focus on when you're doing these recovery days. So it has to be low intensity, okay? So you don't want to put your body under any more stress. Then foam rolling. So I have a little right there, please. I normally use, it's just a handy one to think of. So what you have to do is work from the bottom up, okay? So it's down at the bottom there. It's basically 10 rows in every position. Okay, so start with your calves. I won't go through